Hey everybody, welcome to another Rocket League video. Lawler here, going to be breaking down what's going on with the Rat Enterprises rumors with being signed by RØKKR. Johnnyboi has recently discussed and put out a video about professionalism and maturity in the Rocket League scene, as well as Moopy being released from the Pittssburgh Knights. We'll also take a little bit of time to recap what's going on in the Rocket Baguette Summer Grand Prix, as well as what to look forward to for the Grand Finals that'll end up starting later today. And as always, if you guys would like to support me any further, multiple ways to do so are easily done with those social media links that you can find in the description down below. All these that are being listed here between Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, you name it, easily found down in the description. All you have to do is hit follow or like or subscribe, and it doesn't cost you a thing. And the same thing applies to this video. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a like, as well as hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the best Rocket League news content. With that said, let's get straight into the video. So for those that don't know, there's been some speculation going on the subreddit as the Reddit detectives are busy at work as we're starting to get to the final steps of the off season. The RLCS season is going to be starting here technically on the 27th, but on the 24th is when the roster is officially locked. A lot of people are trying to figure out where these rosters are going to officially finalize at with all the roster rumors that are still continuing to happen. One of the things that was followed though while people are looking at Rat Enterprises is that a lot of members from the organization of the Minnesota RØKKR, if you guys don't know them, they are a CDL team or a Call of Duty League team and a franchise created by Wise Ventures. This is a team that's in partnership and founded by the organization behind the NFL team of the Minnesota Vikings. As a Green Bay Packers fan, I'm going to do my best to look past that, but a lot of people have been going through the Twitters of who's following and who people are following. And in this case, both Torment, Gimmick, and Fireburner are being followed by a lot of really important people from that organization. Their art director, their designer, their chief operating officer, the digital marketing manager, the junior content specialist, as well as others. With that, a lot of people are believing that this could be an opportunity for them to follow. And apparently one of their guys, their chief operating officer, Brett Diamond, follows me. So maybe I'm also getting picked up. Who knows? If I remember correctly, this was a team that ended up building a brand new stadium in Minneapolis area for CDL pretty recently, which with having the backing of an NFL team and the owners being ones that are the ones who own the Minnesota Vikings, there is a lot of funding that would come with this team. Again, this is all speculation. There is no guarantees that this is the case. The last time we did see something like this happen on the subreddit was with Alpine Gaming, and people were actually correct on that. Whether this is the truth or not, I'm not here to confirm or deny. I'm just here to provide you guys some of the rumors of who the teams may be. If you guys haven't heard, actually recently there has been a lot of rumblings of teams from the CDL quite interested in Rocket League. So this is just another team that follows that bill, and maybe these rumors are starting to come true. But at the end of the day, I just hope that the Rat Enterprises guys find the third that they're looking for after trying so many different players. I think they're up to 5 different players total now, and that they find a new home that will make sure that they're covered and their well-being is taken care of. Recently on stream, Johnnyboi also talked about the profanity and professionalism in the Rocket League scene, especially at the higher level in the pro scene, and talked about his situation with Saltmine with having disabled chat and some of the other reasons as to why. And if you guys haven't seen what I'm talking about, here's a little bit of that video. It's ended up being 30 minutes long, so I recommend going and checking it out.
Well, clearly the players being aware that swearing was not allowed didn't work, because they knew that going into the first game. It was every single match thread because they're in the Discord for Saltmine 2 and for Fusion as well. Every single match would have a chat, a little chat window or a chat channel created. It would have like the players for that game, the casters for that game, and the lobby details for that game, and also a message telling players chat is enabled. Do not write anything questionable. But until the Rocket League community as a whole significantly matures, and I'm talking significantly, I'm not talking about, you know, everybody says, oh yeah, we're not going to swear, yeah, it's fine, let's just try again, yeah, we won't swear. I'm talking, I need evidence of other things besides language changing. And I'm talking things like players showing up on time for every single match without being prompted, players knowing when their games are without having to ask for a link to a bracket which is publicly available and linked everywhere on Twitter, Wikipedia, Discord, and all the other social medias connected to the game. When players start to become a bit more automatic in the Rocket League scene with their behavior, then I'll maybe consider it. But until then, not even remotely There's not even the most remotely small chance that I will let that happen again.
Now, as someone that can speak to this a little bit more as being a fellow tournament organizer alongside Johnny, I do agree there's a lot of problems, and part of the reason as to why that is because we do have a very young scene when it comes to the pro scene. A lot of these kids, when they enter 15, 16, they've never had a proper job. They've never really had to work hard per se, in the sense of a 9-to-5 that you really don't like, retail, minimum wage kind of job. A lot of these kids are coming in and getting paid $4,000 to $5,000 a month at a bare minimum to play video games. And that sounds very demeaning, but it's not to be diminishing in any sense. It is just not the same as a minimum wage kind of medial kind of job, like flipping burgers at McDonald's or whatever. Not that that should be disgraced in any way. It's just your kind of entry-level positions. A lot of these guys are very blessed to be in the situation that they are. Part of the reason because they are very talented and some of the best at what they do, which is definitely rewarded in the entertainment industry. But because of that, that life experience just isn't quite there yet. They don't really appreciate the situation that they're in, and is why I really appreciate a lot of the older players, or the ones like Garrett, who have matured very quickly and do understand the situation of their circumstance. I have expressed this numerous times on my streams and in other places. The lack of maturity and the frustrations I have with putting on things as a tournament organizer, and as many reasons why I don't know if I'm ever going to run another brawl. The frustration that comes with trying to schedule these guys and constantly have to bicker and moan and continually pressure them about when their matches start. A lot of these guys, even with coaches and managers, constantly need a bracket or don't know the rules to the tournament. Like, you signed up for a tournament and you don't know the rules, you just assume what they are. Like, how do you not have the foresight or the know-how to go and look this stuff up? It baffles me. My frustrations really come in when I ran the brawl. I've always been talked about candid action. I want to be able to give the players and get to know their personalities, and it's been a big focus. But when I'm being sponsored by Psyonix and they're providing a $10,000 prize pool, and they are trying to showcase the in-game esports button, which means we need to adhere to the E for everyone rating, and eventually they're trying to turn on rewards so people watching can get rewards and drops, there's certain guidelines that we have to follow. And when I detail those in the Discord with every single lobby, and I put out all the information and send reminders to your coaches and managers and say, hey guys, we need to be E for everyone friendly. Keep from profanity, keep it professional, just like you do in every interview you have ever done on the RLCS ever. And for some reason, that concept still escapes them, and they don't seem to figure it out. A lot of this from Johnny's video stemmed from the fact in Salt Mine, he had to disable chat because people were saying the F word and this and that. And it creates this issue of, I can't provide the content that the chat wants, but I also need to make sure that I make sure these things aren't a problem on the Psyonix end, because they're the ones that are backing it and providing us all these extra features. Those numbers on stream, the brawl pulled like 16,000 viewers concurrent. I take those numbers to a sponsor and go, these are our demographics. This is the minutes watched. This is how many people interact. These are the people that you can advertise to. How much are you willing to spend so I can increase the production and pay my casters and get better things out of it to better provide you guys content? Those are the things that Psyonix is trying to help with. But when the pros and the community act this way, not only am I not wanting to run it anymore because it's just not worth it, but it also deters Psyonix from helping in the first place. And that's the complication. If we want Rocket League to become a tier 1 esport, if we want it to really blow up, there needs to be a massive change of maturity, not only from the pros, the commentators, the casters, but all the community. Everybody needs to take a step up in that maturity. And I'm guilty of it as well. I engage with some pretty petty conversations on my stream when people are harassing me and telling me to kill myself. Instead of just banning them, I go in on them because it's not fair as a public figure that I just have to sit and take it. I should have the ability to defend myself publicly, and for some reason, I'm the bad guy for doing that. Again, we need to be better above it, and this applies to myself as well as everybody else. Things like this are why I have been deterred to not run another brawl. I mean, I talked about this publicly about how people can't swear and how this isn't going to be allowed. And the first reaction for the thousands of people in chat is they all spam the F word a ton. And it's terrible. That's your gut reaction. I don't know how to help you other than just disable chat altogether. Put it in slow mode. Put on sub only mode on my VODs, because people are going and stealing my content and re-uploading it for profit and gain. And yet I'm getting death threats because I'm protecting my own content and people are stealing it. It would be like you going to work, doing your job, but I'm just going to take your paycheck. It's not like those VODs weren't available. You could either pay $5 for the content that I spent hundreds of hours to provide, or you can wait less than 12 hours and they'll be fully available on YouTube free of charge. But your gut reaction is to send me death threats and tell me to kill myself. Again, some major maturity needs to happen in this scene if we want to be taken seriously. Link to that video will be down in the description. It's about 30 minutes long. It starts around the 3-minute mark. Please go watch it. Listen to what Johnny has to say. Please, just overall, be better. I know we can be. I'm very lucky that my community and the people in the comments, for the most part, are very positive and very understanding. But again, if you see that stuff, call it out. We can do better. Also, shortly after the video I put out in regards to the Pittssburgh Knights and all the weirdness going on, their coach Moopy was actually let go. If you guys didn't see his tweet, he talks about how, as of today, I no longer represent the Pittssburgh Knights. This decision had nothing to do with the players. We're all still great friends and love working together. The thing that surprised a lot of people here was that some of the players actually talked about how they weren't aware that this was happening. And at the same time, when you as a player are no longer fulfilling your contract under Pittssburgh Knights and are trying out with a bunch of other teams, how are you surprised when you yourself aren't even adhering to the rules that you have agreed to? So again, with that in mind, I'm looking at Pittssburgh Knights now, and I can say probably without a doubt, Pittssburgh Knights is getting scrapped. Whether you're Gyro or whoever else, you are no longer going to be a part of this team, and Pittssburgh Knights is looking to pick up a brand new roster, and I don't necessarily blame them based upon the way that AJ and Redos have acted. Links back a little bit to what we just talked about in Johnny's video. Young kids making decisions and not understanding the consequences of what are going on. Talked about this in my last video with Pittssburgh Knights. If they truly wanted to, because the kids are under contract, could hold them hostage on that team and just bench them. They can legally put them under contract and say, you have to sit here and there's nothing you can do about it, and we're going to waste your entire next 4 months or however long the contract is. I assume they're not going to, because it's not worth their time or the headache. This is part of the reason why I want esports orgs to own the spots. I want people, and this is something I talked about a very long time ago, again, recurring themes here if you guys haven't noticed. Does Psyonix want to work with esports organizations that have had decades of experience in the scene, or do they want to work with 15 and 16-year-olds to control their business? I think you guys are starting to lean towards the organizations, and I couldn't be happier. If you guys can't tell, I'm a little frustrated by the lack of maturity that's going on, and it's being a pretty candid response here. But again, I want this game to succeed, and a lot of this stuff has to go away before we are taken seriously and we can really get to our full potential. This is me speaking and just genuinely wanting Rocket League to be the biggest it can be, and there's a lot of barriers in our way that we're going to have to overcome. And last but not least, even though we haven't talked about it that much, the Rocket Baguette Summer Grand Prix is going on, where I talked about the 12 teams that are invited, best in Europe, and there's 40,000 euros on the line. We are down to the playoffs. The playoffs started yesterday on Saturday with Team Liquid, Oxygen, Singularity, Vitality, BDS, and Barcelona. BDS and Barcelona did start in the lower half of the bracket, as they were the teams that qualified through the lower qualifier in that tournament. So they get that lower seed out of the 3. And even though that happened, they're the ones to win out of that lower. So game started, Team Liquid versus Oxygen and Singularity versus Vitality. Liquid, even though a lot of people were pretty happy about their performances in groups, ended up having a really hard time of continuing their playstyle with that demo-aggressive playstyle on the back end when they were rotating through. Pointed out a lot about this with Fruity, and the difficulty. Oxygen likes to move the field a lot of passes, a lot of spacing. They don't really sit still. It's one of the benefits of Shazette. So weren't able to catch them, weren't able to break up those rotations, and they got outworked in passes and maneuverability. On the other side, Singularity and Scrubkilla ended up playing his old team in Vitality. And even though Vitality's been a kind of shaky situation, they did end up winning overall. I actually didn't get to watch that series at all. So if you guys have any information, let me know in the comments down below how that series ended up playing out. On the other side of the lowers, like I said, BDS and Barcelona ended up winning. BDS, again, similar situation, very aggressive, very controlled on offense. Liquid just could not get out of their own half. And BDS continuing to be that dark horse I've been talking about. As for Singularity and Barcelona, Singularity started up 2-0 in the series. Very dictating game in the beginning. A lot of offense, really fast. And Barcelona's biggest mistake is they were trying to match that, which they figured out in game 3, 4, and 5 as they got a reverse sweep. They ended up slowing down the play a little bit, not trying to play the aggressive game, trying to just allow the field to develop a little bit and then meet where the ball was going. And because of that, they had a lot more boost to conserve, a little bit more people on defense, and made it very difficult for them to be scored on. Because of that, Singularity put themselves out of position, moved up a little bit too far, and then counterattacks played out, and they got punished for it. So congrats to Barcelona for holding on. They are still trying out Itachi. 4 teams remaining for Sunday, which is today, will be Oxygen and Vitality going up against each other, and then BDS and Barcelona. I assume Oxygen will probably win over Vitality if I had to guess, and then BDS over Barcelona. And then for that grand final, I have no idea who's going to win between BDS and Vitality, but either way, should be some really exciting matches. Starts pretty early, right around actually when this video comes out. So if you guys haven't, twitch.tv/Rocket Baguette. Go and check it out. It's going to be a good grand final. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. Sorry for being a little bit more softer spoken. My voice is pretty strained from casting as well as streaming every day. So you can take a bit of a break. But again, I greatly appreciate you guys taking the time. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you guys know to drop those down below. You may even find one of them featured in the videos moving forward. As always, if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as hit subscribe and turn on notifications, as it does help me out greatly. But that is going to do it for me. I'm Lawler. This has been your Rocket League News, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.